My name is Philip Harrelson. I'd like to welcome you back again to the Barnabas Study. And I've got a little brief announcement of sorts. I say brief, it may turn into a longer than just brief. However, I have started a new podcast, and I'm just kind of getting into the part of it. A friend of mine, in fact, a couple of friends of mine have podcasts. Brother Douglas Walker, True Church up in Calgary, Alberta, up in Canada, he's got an app. It's the True Church app. He does an excellent job with his podcast. That's a weekly podcast. And then Brother Myron Powell out in Omaha, Nebraska, has a podcast as well. And he interviewed me here just a couple of weeks ago or so. That's an upcoming podcast here in a few weeks. I'm not sure exactly when. But I thought to myself, I want to maybe start a podcast. Now, mine's a little unique. I say it's mine. I've called it the TBC Tapes, and that's the Texas Bible College Tapes. And I went to Bible college and started in the fall of '89. And that's whenever it was still in Houston. I was 23 years old whenever Teresa and I moved to Houston. Justin had just been born. He was about 3 months old. And so we moved out there, and I think school started the Tuesday after Labor Day of 1989. And I actually had already gone to nursing school. I was 23, and I went to a very intense RN school here locally. And at the time, they had a very good passage rate for their state boards, and so the program itself was pretty rigorous. I think they were more interested in flunking people out than trying to help them get an education, because they didn't want to mess up their record. And so it was very intense. I made good grades when I was in high school. But when I got to nursing school, it was a whole different matter. And all of a sudden, I realized I had to learn how to study. And the first semester or so was kind of just getting your feet on the ground, kind of getting things oriented toward trying to learn how to study, memorize, pass tests. The way the test worked in nursing school was similar to state boards. There were 2 correct answers. Everything was multiple choice. But there were 2 correct answers out of the 4, and you had to choose the best correct answer of the 2. And what they were doing was training you how to take your state boards. And so I really kind of learned how to study in nursing school. So what I did was I would tape those lectures. My dad bought me a little micro cassette recorder, and Teresa was a semester ahead of me. And what she would do was in her nursing textbooks, she'd highlight and underline, and then I would get her books, and I would study with her books and listen to those cassette lectures. And so whenever I got to Bible college, I was by that time a little bit of maturity. About 3 had graduated. It had been 3 years. In fact, I was the youngest RN in my class. And so I just maybe had just turned 20 whenever I passed my boards. And so whenever I got to Texas Bible College, I was pretty serious about studying. So I taped every class. And I would say that while I was there, I may have missed. I did my best to be at class every single day, even if I didn't feel well. I felt like what I was doing was extremely serious. So I bought a little Sony cassette recorder. And at the time, you may remember, that was back when cassettes was kind of the going thing. And so Teresa and I, we bought 1,000 cassette tapes from blank tapes from Kingdom Tape at the time, and a little Sony handheld tape recorder. And we tried the rechargeable batteries and all that. We bought our first PC back in the fall of '89. We paid $3,000 for a computer, and the hard drive may have been, may have been 40 megabytes. It was DOS operated, And so we were kind of trying to get the hang of and get that figured out. But again, I have saved those tapes. And over the last little while, I have been working at converting those cassette tapes to MP3s. And so what I've done is I've uploaded those tapes, and I'll put the link to the RSS feed in the description here. But I'd like, if you're interested, to subscribe to that. You can download them freely. And primarily the instructors, Brother J.R. Enzi was the president at the time. And I think Brother A.B. Keating was our Dean of Theology. And then Brother Kelsey Griffin, Brother David Hunt were the primary 4 instructors. And then adjunct was Brother Wayne McLean. Occasionally they get Brother Foss, O.R. Foss, to come in and teach classes. And then Brother Ken Gurley would also come in. Brother Gurley would do some of our upper level senior classes. And then every year, Brother Enzi would always have Brother David Gray, who at the time, I think he pastored Revival Tabernacle out of San Diego. And Brother Gray would come to the school and he'd stay there for 3 weeks. And he would teach classes to the freshman, junior, and the senior classes. And so anyway, in the process of it all, I recorded pretty much everything. And I have started uploading Brother Griffin's Old Testament survey class. And I've got all those up. There are about 27 or 28 lectures of that. And then I have started uploading Brother Enzi's, one of our freshman classes. I'm trying to do them by years. And so Brother Enzi taught us wisdom literature, which was the Proverbs, and I think Ecclesiastes, but it was primarily the Proverbs that was there. Those are already in, and I've got them set where they're dropping every day. And they're probably halfway through February. And so those tapes will be popping out, or those podcasts will be popping out. There's nothing fancy about it, and I can tell you this, the sound quality, again, it's classroom atmosphere, and you're hearing papers being shuffled, you're hearing people coughing. You can, again, it's just sitting up on my desk. Of course, I did try to sit in the front. I think the best way perhaps to listen to them is through earbuds or headphones. But I'll have those out, and I'm going to stay pretty much in advance and have those podcasts dropping out. But if you're interested, you can certainly get a good idea of the kind of Bible college experience that I had. Now, I will say it was very intense Bible teaching, and the knowledge. And then later on, I have been to a seminary, Bible college seminary here in my local area, transferred as much of those credits over that I could. And but I have discovered this, that the quality of lectures that Brother Enzi, Griffin, Keating, and Hunt gave to us was superior. And if you went to Bible college during that period of time and you still have your notebooks, the notes correlate with that. And I'll tell you what I did with my notes, and I'm sure people laughed at me and whatever, but I've still got my notes almost 35 years later. I put them all in sheet protectors, and I regularly pull them out and use them. I've got them divided up according to the colors that they had them in. The gray color was the freshman year, maroon color or blue color was the junior year, and then the maroon color was the senior level class. And again, just good apostolic teaching. And Brother Griffin certainly profoundly, in fact, all those men profoundly marked my life up. And I'm very thankful that I was able to go to Bible college during that period of time. It was also during that period of time that the Gulf War started. You may remember that. I think that was in 1990, maybe 91. I think it was in 1990. And of course, all the pontificators, Saddam Hussein is the Antichrist, and this is the end. And it certainly was not. However, I felt a lot of pressure. I thought, well, I've got to get back home. and we've got to win the world and get everything going. Brother Patterson needs me here worse than he needs me in Bible college. And so I called my dad. My dad was like, you need to really reconsider. You need to stay there and finish up. I talked to Brother Griffin, and Brother Griffin told me, he said, I'm just going to say this. He said, when the Lord comes back, he said, there'll be young men that are in Bible colleges and seminaries training for ministry. And then, of course, Brother Patterson, very similar sentiments. And so I stayed and graduated in May of 1992. But again, I just wanted to let you know about this podcast called the TBC Tapes. And so they'll be uploaded, and you help yourself to them and listen to them. But I wanted to come on here and just kind of talk to you about that. So that's, again, just kind of an announcement about that podcast. And so the Lord bless you. And again, thanks for watching the Barnabas channel. God bless.